Today we are going to start. Good evening, everyone. Uh, Welcome, and we continue the session. Let's continue the session. Sorry, and
Good evening, sir.
good evening. Good evening. Uh, just let me share my screen with you. Okay. Today we see the descriptive analysis uh, in R. And first, I explain you something about the descriptive analysis. Are you getting my screen? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is univariate analysis? In the descriptive analysis, we perform univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, is also the multivariate analysis. But here we in this session will cover only the univariate and the bivariate analysis. So what is univariate analysis? Okay. So we see summarizing behavior of data. Basically, univariate statistics is the study of individual variables, as the name suggests. It's not always possible to go through the entire data. You would rather like to look a few summary points which would give you an idea overview of the variable's behavior. Whenever we are performing some analysis, first we try to understand the behavior of data. It means behavior of individual variables we have to see. In a family, if there are 8 members, you see every member have a different nature and the behavior. Similarly, in the data frame, if we have so many variables, the columns, every column has a different nature and behavior. So we have to understand the nature and behavior of the data. So why we use some summary points by which we could get an idea and overview of the behavior of the variables. Summary statistics, what we take. So the facets of data are we need to understand what facets of data we need to look to have the complete overview. Is the measure of central tendency. Second is the variability, means the measure of dispersion. And third one is the shape of the data. Okay. So central tendency means average or representative behavior of the data. It means the single value by which we the single value which represent the whole data. So measure of central tendency can be performed by mean, median, and mode. We know that the mean is an aggregate measure. It involves all the value when we find out the mean of some data. Median is a partition measure where we divide the data. First, we arrange the data in ascending or descending order. Then we divide the data in two parts. The middlemost value is called the median. Mode is a frequency measure. The value of highest frequency point is called the mode. Equal what is the variability or the dispersion? Equal central tendency does not mean similar all-round behavior. There may be different scatterness in the data. or there may be different spreadness also. Data values can be different in terms of spread around the central tendency, you know that. Measure of variability can be done by range, standard deviation variance, mean absolute deviation, interquartile range. So what is interquartile range? It is the Q3 minus Q1. Okay. Range is the most sensitive to extreme values. If you change the extreme value, the value of range will change, because the range is the maximum minus minimum. So what is the maximum value or what is the minimum value? If you little bit change in the, these are called the extremes, the maximum and the minimum value. If you change the extreme, the range will change. Standard deviation, variance, and the MAD are sensitive to extreme value as well. Mean is also extreme sensitive to that our extreme values. IQR, interquartile range, median are not sensitive to extreme values. MAD is also a good measure of variability as variance. Only issue that it is difficult to manipulate algebraically. Shape. First we see the center tendency, then we see the variability, and finally we judge by the shape of the data. So center tendency and variability summary states give you an idea about how your data is centered and spread, but it does not tell you how frequent particular values are in your data. So why we use the histogram in the continuous data, and where we see the skewness of the data or the symmetry. So the symmetric data is a normal data. The skewed data may be positive skewed or the negative skewed, and the measurement we use the skewness. Look at here in this graph, the blue curve, you see this density, it is a positive skewed because the frequency on the near to origin are high and the far away from the origin it is getting down. Middle one, red, is a no skewness, it is normal symmetric data. And the right, you see the green one, that is a negative skewed data. If you see the types of shapes, so look at here, the maximum height would be the mode, that point on the x-axis, this value would be on the x-axis would be mode, this is a frequency. Highest frequency value is called the mode. And then median, then mean. So mean is highest in the positive skewed data. Mean is greater than median and mode. But in symmetrical distribution or the normal distribution, mean, median, mode all are equal. And negative skewed data, mean is smaller than median, is smaller than mode. So in this way, we could judge through the value also. Visualizing shapes, histograms, these are the simpler bar chart indicating frequency of data values in your data. Also one, we have the box plot. This shows relative position of quartiles in your data, thus giving you an idea about the shape of the data. So this is the histogram. It is not the actual histogram. I have like a bar plot. Histogram, it is just paste to each other, all the rectangles. So first you see, I am just showing you the visualization is like that. If you see, it is like that. The first one, that is a normal distribution. Second is a positive skewed. Third is a negative skewed. You could, after judging the these all things, you could find it out. About histogram, continuous numeric variables have too many unique values to make a proper histogram. Bar chart and with frequency. So we have the too many unique values. For a vector user, we club neighboring values in broader classes. So these classes can be made finer when we have a large amount of data. This is the box plot. You see there is a lower extreme, then lower quartile, upper extreme, and in between you see the median. The space between lower quartile and the lower extreme are called the whisker. Similarly, the space between upper quartile and the upper extreme are called the whisker. Outliers are they are different. They are defined for numeric variables only. Values in the data which are very different from rest of the data, meaning they are either too small or too large, are called the outliers. Quantifying outliers, we have a various formula to quantifying the outliers as per the skewness of the data. We can quantify these too small and too large values by defining an acceptable range of the values for data. So what would be the acceptable range? How we find out the acceptable range? The value which is out of the acceptable range are called the outliers. So we have to find out that interval. So if we have a data which is normal, then we have a formula mean plus minus n into standard deviation. Here I will explain you. Mean plus minus 3 into standard deviation. This formula we use. Okay. This formula we use. For the lower limit of outlier, we use x bar minus 3 into standard deviation. For the upper limit of outlier, we use x bar plus 3 into standard deviation when the data is normal. If you have a skewed data, then we use for lower limit Q1 first quartile minus 1.5 into IQR. And for upper limit, we use Q3 plus 1.5 into IQR. So this is the formula for finding out the acceptable range of the values of the data. You see, this is the visualization of the outlier. Now we see the implementation of this R in R. Therefore, we have, and today we are going to study about the descriptive analysis. In this descriptive analysis, we are going to use the, first we see the univariate analysis. So, univariate analysis, I will explain you first one data set. I think that yesterday in the last session, I have explained you about the data set of empty cars. Are you all aware about that data set? Yes. Are you aware about the empty cars data set? I explained yesterday. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So there is no need to explain the empty cars data set. I just start with that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So I am taking that empty cars data set here as MD. Look at here, we have the 32 observation, 11 variables in this data set. First variable is the mileage, second is the cylinder, displacement, horsepower, draft, weight, CUSEC, VS, AM, gear, and carburetor. I will show you the structure. Whenever we read a structure, first we view the data and then we see the structure of data. And in this way, you could find out the structure of data str. And here you see all the variables are numeric. But the VS and AM you see here, it is the binary 0 and 1 only. So we could convert this variable in a categorical form. And we see what variable you could convert in a categorical form in a descriptive purpose. So I will show you that. So how we could convert this variable in a categorical form. In the VS you see we have a V-shaped engine and a straight engine. So 0 for the V-shaped engine here and the 1 for the straight engine. There are two type of engine. It is the type of engine. So I am making one new variable which is a type of engine, new column in this data set. So how we could create a new column in a data set, how we could merge a new column in a data set, I will explain you. So MD dollar, then I will write the new column name, that is a type of engine. Here you see I have used the quotes here. Why I have used the quote? If there is single word, then there is no need of quote. There are three words we have and there is a space in between. So I'm using the quotes. Okay. And then how I will get this new variable with the help of current variables. So I will use the function if else. I will just show you. So you could if else, and here I will write that column name from which with the help of which I would create this column, that is a VS equal to, not only equal to conditional I have to write first. If else MD dollar VS equal to 0, then it would be convert in V-shaped. If it is 1, then convert in state engine. If it is not 0, then it will convert in state engine. Okay. So there are only two. So I am writing in this way and I run this. You see now there is 12 variable instead of 11. And I will show you that new variable here. You see the type of engine V-shaped. Wherever we have 0, it is V-shaped. Where we have 1, it is a state. Does that make sense to everyone? Now another column, AM, I will convert in the same way. That is a AM, automatic and manual gear transmission. So I will write the new name, gear transmission. If else, MD dollar AM equal to 0, it would be automatic. Otherwise, which is 1, should be manual. I run it. You see there are 13 variables now. I will show you that variable, the manual. Wherever it is 1, it is manual. Wherever it is 0, it is automatic. Got it? So we have created these two new columns with the help of old columns VS and AM. Now VS and AM is not useful for us. It is having no worth here. Yes.
I have a question. How did you get this MD in this window?
MD, this
Yes.
one. Just
Yes.
you click here. Just you click here.
Okay.
You see my cursor. Just you click here. You will get it.
Thank
We have a two option. Otherwise, you could click here or you could give a command also. Where the V is capital. I will show you. I remove it, and then I am giving that command view. View command we have to use. The V is capital here. In view, you write the MD and control enter. Got it? We have two options. Either you could click here or you could use the command also.
Thank you, sir.
So I want to remove those two variables VS and AM. So how could I remove the variable? So I will show you. I will just select the VS. And what I do, I will just write the NU double L null in capital. And I will just click here. You see there are 13 variables in the global environment. When I click this, there would be 12 variables. The next I am removing from here. So there are 11 variables. Again, we have the 2 variables I have removed. Those 2 variables I have removed from this data, type of engine and the gear transmission I have instead of them. Understand? Now I want to show you again the structure of the data. You see the structure is here. It is a character. Both variables are character here. Got it? These are the characters now. And the other are. The second task, whenever we get the data, first task we have done, the variables which we could convert in a categorical form, we have converted it. Second thing, we have the numeric data and we have to bifurcate the data as per the discrete and the continuous. So how we would get that thing, I will show you. We'll find out the unique MD dollar mileage. First variable C, whether it is continuous or discrete. So we have so many unique values here. Look at here. We have so many unique values. Out of 32 observations, we have 25 unique values. So it is a continuous. It is continuous. Now the second I see another variable, cylinder. You see how many unique values are there? There are only very few unique values, 3 unique values. So it is a discrete. In such way, we will see each and every variable and we bifurcate them as a continuous or the discrete. Whenever we will get the discrete variable, what we do? We convert them in factor. So the cylinder variable, we convert them in factor, but we don't convert the continuous variable. It will remain as it is. We don't have to do anything with the continuous one. But whenever we feel it is a discrete, very few unique values, then we convert them in factor. So I will convert the cylinder in a factor. You will see how I convert it. So MD dollar cylinder and S dot factor function I will use MD dollar cylinder. And I will run it. And now I will show you the structure again. Look at here. Cylinder is a factor with 3 levels, 4, 6, and 8. And the first four cylinder is a 1, 6 cylinder is the second level, and the 8 cylinder is the third level. So I have converted this in a factor. So similarly, you have to do for the whole data. Okay, I will not do for the whole data. You have to do by yourself. Now, this we have done. Next thing, now we see the univariate analysis with the numeric data. So with the numeric data, if you have to find out the mean, you have to find out the standard deviation, you have to find out the median. So how we could find out the mean median of a particular variable? So I will write the mean, then MD dollar mileage. I will get the mean of the mileage, that is 20.09 US gallon per miles per US gallon. If I find out the SD MD dollar mileage, I will get the standard deviation. If I want the mean absolute deviation, which is deviation taken from the median here, so MD dollar mileage. So it is mean absolute deviation. If I want to know the median, MD dollar mileage, I will get the median. If I want to know the minimum, what is the minimum value of the mileage? So I will get the minimum value, that is 10.4. If I want the maximum value of the mileage, so MD dollar mileage maximum 33.9. If I want the range, MD dollar mileage, so I will get the both value minimum maximum. We subtract it, 33.9 minus 10.4, we get the range of this. So these all statistics will perform for each and every variable. It will take very long time. For saving our time, we have some other formulae. One is the summary. In the summary, if I write the MD dollar, not dollar, I will take the summary of the whole data, all the variables altogether. So you see, I'm taking the summary of all the variables. The mileage, you see the minimum value, the first quartile, the median, the mean, the third quartile, and the maximum. But we are not getting, these are the 6-point summary only. There is no standard deviation. There is no other values like the mean absolute deviation, standard error, etc. Kurtosis, skewness is not there. So it is not a complete summary. It is the 6-point summary. In the second variable, which is a factor variable, I have taken the cylinder. So you see the 11 vehicles have 4 cylinders, 7 vehicles have 6 cylinder, 14 vehicles have 8 cylinder. But here in the last, you see the type of engine, the gear transmission, which are the character class. We are not getting any summary. We are not getting any statistics here. We are just getting the length, 32. We are not getting the how many type of the engine, how many type of the gear transmission, and how many times they are. We are not getting the frequency also. So whenever you have a character, you will convert them in a factor and you could get the table like cylinder. So I convert type of engine in a factor and then I will show you the summary again. You could see it. So I will convert type of engine as a factor, MD dollar, type of engine. Now I will show you the structure again of MD. You will see this is the last one. A type of engine, the factor with 2 level state V-shaped. Previously it was the character. You know that it was character. Now it is factor. Now I again show you the summary for this. So just a moment, I will show you the summary. So look at this summary. So here you see the type of engine, the state engine are 14. 14 vehicles have the state engine and the 18 vehicles have the V-shaped engine. So this is a way we could see the summary, but here is the summary is a 6-point summary only. If I want the detailed summary, then I have a library like Scite. I will run that library. Right here. So in this library, I have a function describe. And the describe, I write the data name. I will get the 12-point summary here instead of 6-point. You see, these are the variables. These are the summary points. These are the variables, first, second. This is the only the serial number of the variables. This is the number of the data points, number of observations, then mean, then the standard deviation, then the median, then the trimmed. Trimmed is the mean between Q1 and Q3 data, 50% data mean. Mean is absolute deviation through median. This is the minimum value, this is the maximum value, this is the range, maximum minus minimum, this is the skewness of the data, this is the kurtosis of the variable, this is the standard error. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 point summary we are getting here. Got it?
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes.
We are using this dollar sign for conversion, right?
Yes.
Would it be kind enough to just explain it once more, doctor? I couldn't catch up with the.
Okay. Which one? Here?
Yes, doctor.
Yes. Dollar sign we use for the selecting the column, whatever the column we want, selecting the variable only from the data.
Okay, doctor. So like the column that we are choosing in this case is type of engine, right, doctor?
Yes, yes. So I will show you again. You see MD, I have just put the dollar, then I will get the drop down menu of all the variables.
Okay,
So whatever the variable, if I want to select the gear transmission, I could select the gear transmission.
oh.
I could also convert this as dot factor and the dollar. Look at this. Okay.
And one more thing, doctor.
Yes.
The data that which doctor is going through us right now
Yes.
is all there in like save in this R,
R,
right?
it is default. You have the so many data sets. You
Okay.
could select the data set. You just have to write down the data
Okay,
and
doctor.
keep it blank. Just click here. You will get the data names. So there are various data sets in
Okay, doctor.
R for practice.
Okay, doctor. And one thing, doctor, like
Yes.
basically when in my case when I have to deal with so many Excel data here in my
Ah,
office, so like is
you
that
could read all your data here, Excel data. I have explained that, no? How to read the data
I
in
think I
R.
missed, was it yesterday's session, doctor? I think I missed.
No, no, no. Yesterday session, I don't know. I don't know. I have explained that how to read the various data formats in R. Yes. Somebody,
Can someone
can,
in this forum just
I just asked them. If I didn't, then I will explain it. Okay, I have
No,
not.
sir, we did not cover, I guess.
Okay, okay. I will explain it to you. Okay, don't worry.
thank you, sir. Thank
We
you,
could
doctor.
root any sort of file extension. We could read here, or we could also save in any sort of file extension. Okay, even the SAS file, SPSS file, Excel sheet, CSV format file, we could read here. That's all. So let's the describe function. One more thing, important thing I want to tell you about this describe function is that you see in the cylinder there is a asterisk sign. Here also in the type of engine and the gear transmission. Why it is? Because these are the variables are in the form are in the class of factor or character. So this statistics is not viable for these variables where you get the asterisk. So don't take these statistics in consideration if you see any variable having the asterisk sign. Got it? Either it may be categorical or it may be factor. So this statistics is not viable. So this was all about the numeric data, how we univariate analysis of the numeric variables. Now we see the univariate or the bivariate analysis of categorical data. I will explain you after this about how to read the different files here. Okay, don't worry. I will cover that also. So for that purpose, I am taking another data set. But that data set is from a Scikit library. Okay. So first you have to install this library. How to install, I again explain you. You go to the packages and click here the install, and then you write that library name PSYCH and select in and install it. It will take little time and then it will be start. Whenever you have to use this library, you put the library Scikit and then run it. Then you use the function of that library or the data set, whatever is there in that library. So whatever the data set I'm going to use, that is in the Scikit library. So I have already run it. So I don't have to run it again, the Scikit library. Once I run it, I could use it, use its function and the data set anywhere. So that data set name is the arthritis. So I will show you first what is arthritis data set. So I will put a question mark. Then I will write the arthritis and I will show you that. So this is the data arthritis, the data frame with 84 observations and the 5 variables. First variable is the patient ID. Second variable is the treatment factor indicating treatment, placebo in the treated. Placebo is the pseudo treatment. Okay. Third variable is the sex, female and male. Fourth variable is the age of patient. And the fifth variable is the improved. So there are three, it is the order factor. There are three category, none, some and marked improvement. So this is all about data. And I will show you this data. You see, this is our data. Okay. And we see the structure of this data. So this is the structured data frame 84 observation 5 variables. First variable is the ID, is the integer. Second variable is the factor with 2 labels, placebo and treated. First is a placebo, second level is the treated. Third is the sex with 2 levels, female and male. The first is female, the 2 is male. Age is the integer, that is the given the number. And the improved is the order factor with 3 levels, none, sum and mark. So this is our data. Now, first I would like to tell you about the table for the univariate analysis of a variable wise of the categorical data.
Sir,
Yes.
I'm not getting this arthritis data.
Okay. Arthritis data is for, I will explain you again this.
No,
Just a
no.
moment.
I'm not getting it in my R Studio.
You have downloaded that psych library.
Yes, sir. I have downloaded and
You
I'm
have,
using it.
yeah, you have run that library like this, library
Ye-
psych.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You run it?
Yeah.
Then you should got it. I will show you
It's also
once.
happening same with me, doctor. Like I just installed the.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. It is the data of the, not a data of psych. Psych have a different data set. Okay. I have taken the data set arthritis of the VCD library you have to download. Sorry. Okay. VCD.
So we have to install that VCD.
VCD. You install the VCD. In a small,
Okay.
you write the VCD only.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you install it. Because I have the previous session was the same session I had. So
Okay.
I had run over there the VCD. So it is working. Okay. That's why it is working.
And we have to import that library VCD, right?
Yeah.
It's just VCT, right, doctor, or is it VCT extra?
VCD, VCD we are using for the data arthritis only. There are so many things in the VCD. There are so many
we
functions.
right now we are just installing the VCT or only VCT or yes.
Only VCD, only VCD, only VCD.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Yes.
So, doctor,
Yes.
which one we have to now? How should we run in our script? I just install the VCD.
Installed. You write the library VCD. Library, then inside VCD. Okay. Like this, I will write here. VCD and run it. Okay.
Thank you, doctor.
Kirti, you were asking that what is the difference between factor and ordered factor is the it's some kind of ascending or descending form, like the none is smaller than, sum is smaller than, marked. We are giving some order. Like you have a Likert type scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Strongly disagree is smaller than, disagree is smaller than, not certain is smaller than, that in this way. Got it? So have you got this arthritis data now? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I will show you the table, DF, and you will see it is the univariate analysis we do for the categorical data. We see the frequency, DF dollar treatment. That is the pleso base 43 and the treated is 41 out of 84. So this is not a good way to represent the frequency. I have explained you earlier also, we will convert this in a percentage. So I will use the prop dot table function, and where I will use this table function again inside this. And I run this. So I'm getting now the proportion, the 0.51 and the 0.48. But I want in the percentage, and there are so many digits after decimal. So first I control that. I will round it off, and I will write the only the two decimal places up to. And if I show you, so I will like this. Now I convert this in percentage. So I will write the 100 multiply with 100. So it will convert in percentage now. So now it is the percentage. The 51% patients were placebo and the 49% patients are treated. The patients to whom we are giving the real treatment are 49%. The patients whom we are giving the pseudo treatment is 51%. Is it clear to all?
Doctor, I am still struggling to display the data of this arthritis. I just typed library. I installed VCD
Hmm.
and
Yes,
I just I typed library VCD and just run it, but I couldn't get anything.
you are getting some error when you are running this VCD library.
Yes, doctor. Error in view. Object VCD not found.
So VCD is not installed. I think you are
Like
when you
in the I mean like in the packages I have VCD.
here you have searched here VCD.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did, doctor. I installed that, and
So you click on here,
okay, sir.
and then you use the DF arthritis. Then you see it is working or not.
DF,
There's, there
DF.
may be some spelling mistake also, no?
Okay, sir. DF.
Arthritis spelling you see. Is it working now?
Uh, yes, doctor. Thank you, doctor.
It is working. Okay, thanks.
Yes, doctor.
Khadija, what I am telling that, sir, we can get frequency in percentage along by single. No. We had to nesting the function. Okay. I have nested the function. In one function, I am using another function. So there are three functions I am using: the round, prop dot table, and table. And then this output I am multiplying by 100. Got it?
Yes, sir. Can we get frequency along with percentage by single command? Like, can we enter one command and can we get frequency and
No.
percentage? No. So we have to calculate it separately.
Separately.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So this is the way we could convert the thing in a percentage. And there is only one variable I have taken. If you have the two variable, the bivariate analysis for the categorical variable, I will show you. I am taking a table again. And I am taking, sorry, MD I have taken. I have to take the TF and the treatment and TF dollar sex. The two categorical variable I have selected, gender and the treatment. The first variable will be shown on the row side and the second variable will be shown on the column side. So we'll see this first. So these are the values. These are the frequencies, sorry. So 32 placebo, 27. So we want to convert this. And we have one more option. I will explain you that. I will use the xsteps function. And in xsteps, what I have to do, I have to use the formula, that is the tilde. I will take the tilde and after tilde, I will write the variable, what we have. So I have the variable like treatment. I will write the treatment here. And then plus I will use instead of comma. Whenever I use the tilde, I will use the plus sign and sex. And after comma, I will write the data equal to df. And I will run it. I will show you. You see the difference in both outputs. You judge the difference. What is the major difference in both the output?
Treatment word is added.
Yes, the variable name is there. The sex and treatment is there. Got it? In the table, we are not getting that variable name, column name. Here we are getting the column name in the xsteps. Okay. Now, I will nest again this table with a prop.table. I could use it. So what is the prop.table? I could use either, or I could use the some, if I want the total like that, things like the tape 2, oh, I give it some name, or I just make a prop.table. And I put this all there inside that. And I will get the round of it. Oh, I have not given comma 2. So it is the round of I have given. Then I multiplied it by 100. I am getting, these are the percentage. So these are the total percentage, gross percentage out of the gross. 38, 13, if we calculate these all, we get the 100. And but it is very difficult to interpret this sort of things. If I say that I change the variable here, then it would be better for you. Instead of gender, I take another variable that is a improved. And you see in the improved, I will tell you some more function first, and then we'll discuss on that. So it is the frequency 2977. If you calculate all, you will get the total. So there is a one function. So find out the total of this. So I am giving some name to this. So we could use, we don't have to use this again and again. So I will give the T1. Got it? So it is the T1. If I show you the T1, then you will see it is a this same thing. So I will use the margin dot table for T1. So we are getting the total at T4 margin dot table. If I write the margin dot table 1, 1, you see it is along this row wise. We are getting the 43 and the 41. The total of this is 43 and this is 41. If I write instead of 1, 2, we are getting the total column total. We are getting 42, 14 and 28. So 1 for the row total and the 2 for the column total. Okay. One more function I will explain you, that is the add margin. And here I use the T1 and I will show you. You will see that we are getting the total of the rows and columns both along with the frequency distribution. If I want only one-sided total, I could use the one. So I will get the column sum here. And if I want, I get the 2, then I will get this sum in this way. So that is the add margins we could use. Okay. Margin dot table, add margins, X steps I have explained you. Now here I am converting this T1. Instead of this, I will write the X steps, I will write the T1. So T1, I am taking the prop table and 2 decimal places, multiplying it by 100, and I will show you. Why? Something wrong. You see, oh, what happened to this? This is. So this is out of 100, 100 is total. Okay. So here due to that 7 values are there, we are not getting the correct 50, 48 here, 49 here percent, and here we are getting the 51. Here we are getting the 51%, and here we are not getting the 49%. We are getting the 48. Here, sorry, here we are getting the 48. Here we are getting the 51. So total is the 100. Due to variation, we are getting it. So it is not a, if I try to interpret this, so I could interpret in this way that 35% patients which are placebo have not got any improvement. So it is little bit confusing. 35% placebo, which are 35% patient which are placebo. So it may confuse the patients is from the placebo 35% or from the total. It will little bit confusing, the interpretation. So whenever we have this sort of contingency table, then we use the row wise sum or the column wise sum, and we get the proportion out of that. So I will show you, I will write here 1, and I will just show you here. You see it is the, if you compute this, so you will get 100. Here if you compute this, you will get 99, because it is due to some this reason we are not getting the same. So here we could interpret in a better way. In placebo, 67% patient got none improvement, 16% got some improvement, and 16% got marked improvement. It is better interpretation than previous, where we are taking the whole as 100. Here we are taking the row wise 100. In the treated person, 32% patients in the treated patient, 32% were non-improvement, 17% were some improvement, and the 51% were marked improvement. Or either we could use the row wise also, the column wise. In this way we could tag it. Where is that one? I will write here 2 and I will show you again. So it is now the calculation is 100, 100 and 100. So there is 99. So there may not be, there may be some objection why it is 99. So it is better than that. So we could say in the non-improvement, 69% patient were placebo and the 31% patient were treated. Similarly, in the same some improvement patient, there were 50% placebo in the treated. In the marked improvement, there were 25% were placebo and 71% were treated. So is it better interpretation or not? Which one is better interpretation? Yes. So this is a way to do the bivariate analysis with R. And now we see the bivariate analysis for the numeric variables. In the numeric variables, we have seen only the bivariate analysis for, we have seen the univariate analysis. We have not seen the bivariate analysis in the numeric. Then the categorical, we have seen the bivariate analysis. Okay. So we see again in the numeric. So we have a data MD, which is the MTCAS data. And I will again show you once for your review that we have these columns. And I am taking the column mileage, cylinder, displacement, horsepower, and up to weight. I am taking these columns, mileage to weight. But here the MD cylinder is a factor. So I will not take this cylinder. I will take the mileage, displacement, horsepower, draft and weight. So I'm making MD1 new data, and which I will take from the MD, and I will use how I will take it. So I will write the MPG, and the MPG I will write in this way. That is very compulsory. Then I will take another, which is displacement. Then I have, look at here, horsepower, trot, then I have weight. I take only up to weight and I run it. So you see, I have the MD1 32 observations and the 5 variables I will show you. This is a new data from MD1 I have. And I want to see the, if I want to see the 2 variable, only the correlation. So that is very easy. Independently, I could see the correlation. I could use the MD also. So MD dollar mileage and MD dollar weight. So I will see this correlation, the negative, high degree negative correlation. Or I could also make the scatter plot for this. MD dollar weight. I will take on the x-axis weight. On the y-axis, I am taking mileage, and I will show you that plot. You see, this is a plot. As the weight is increasing, the mileage is decreasing. So it is the negative correlation over. You see here, the value is the minus, the Karl-Pearson coefficient of correlation. So this is the bivariate analysis. We could use some other coefficient of specimen rank and the Kendall. We could use the comma, we write the method, and you could ask what are the syntax of this. You just put the question mark and COR you write and you do it. And you will get the description of that function, the covariance and the correlation. You have X and Y and the everything method, Carl Pearson, Kendall, and the Spearman. So any one method, in default, we are using the Carl Pearson method is the default use indicate the correlation coefficient covariance is computed on the Pearson default. And the Kendall and Spearman you could method is a method.
Sorry, doctor, one issue again.
Yes.
I just created MD1 from the this car data MD, like what doctor had did. So like I just I did run, but there was error in MD, so could not find function MD something. So I already have this empty car data in our previous thing.
Yes.
So, but I don't know what issue.
Yes.
There should be double bracket, right, doctor? Or is it?
No, it is a one square bracket and then there is a round bracket inside that.
Oh. I just missed that square bracket.
Okay. Whenever we take access something from a data frame, we use the square bracket for the position in this all. Lakshminder, here we are using the data name is compulsory. So we use the abbreviation name very small, MD, DF like this. We have to use again and again. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, that's not bole.
Here we have used variable name MD1 and we are getting data from MD, right?
No, MD1 is a data frame now.
Okay. So then why we are not using MD1 for plot and in coordinate?
No, we could use that MD1 here.
Okay, but we have used MD. So
MD I have used, I will show you. Well, later we will use the MD1.
Okay.
MD we have selected the variable separately, so we could select it from the MD or MD1. No problem.
Okay.
But when I use the complete data frame, so in the MD data frame, we have some categorical variable. We have some factor class variable. You know that we have converted few in a factor and few in the, so it will not work whatever the function I am going to use.
Okay.
And so I will use one function, you will see for the all variables correlation, I want to see all together.
Okay.
All the numeric variable. So I have taken this numeric variable as a sub data frame. I have created this. This is a sub data frame of MD.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes. Yes.
It is with the numeric variable. So I could add one more is there, but I have not added this QSEC.
Okay.
I could add this also QSEC. So you will see add one more QSEC.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
this all variable I have chosen numeric variable which are continuous.
Okay. Yeah.
The variables which are continuous. So I will just run it again and I will show why I have done this. So I will use one function here and I will just write the MD1.
Okay.
And I run it. Look at this.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
It is a matrix of all the numeric variable scatter plot. Matrix of scatter plot. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So here, how do we interpret this? So there is a mileage and the displacement. If you see in this box, so the displacement is on the x-axis and the mileage is on the y-axis.
Well.
So when the displacement increases, mileage decreases.
Okay.
Got it? Here also, the horsepower is on the x-axis and the mileage on the y-axis. So as the horsepower increases, mileage decreases. Okay.
Yes.
Rear axle ratio is the draft. It is on the x-axis and the mileage on the y-axis. So if the draft is increases, mileage is also increases.
Okay.
If the weight is increases, mileage is decreases. As the cubic is increases, mileage also increases. Okay, but it is not like that, like this, but this is increasing trend here. If we see the displacement in horsepower, so here the horsepower is in a x-axis and the displacement on the y-axis. So as the horsepower increases, displacement increases. So in this way, we could interpret this. What does it mean, the lower triangle? It is just the transpose of this. So here, if you see this one, so here the displacement is a y-axis and the mileage on the x-axis. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Here in this figure, the displacement is on x-axis and the mileage on the y-axis. Thus, we have transposed it here. Okay. So displacement on the y-axis and the mileage on the x-axis. As the mileage increases, the displacement decreases. It is just transpose of this. So we could interpret through the upper triangle or by the lower triangle. You have to choose any one triangle. Got it?
Yes.
Don't use both, because both are the same thing in the lower and the upper triangle. So you use the upper triangle either or lower triangle, whatever you want. Okay.
Okay.
One more thing. ps.tunnels. That is the psych library function. Okay. You will see whenever you type the function, you will see the name of the library also. Here you see the Pierce association VCD, Pierce bar plot VCD. Okay. Pierce diagonal mosaic VCD. You could use these all later on, but I'm telling you very few. You will see. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Why? We are getting three information in this. One is the value of the correlation, Karl Pearson, coefficient of correlation we are getting here. Okay. Between mileage and displacement. Between mileage and weight, you see 0.87 negative, high degree. Got it? So this we are getting here on the upper triangle. And on the lower triangle, we are getting the scatter plot. Okay, along with some their confidence. Okay, so it is giving us that. And the diagonal, we are getting the histogram. We could see the pattern, the skewed or the normal, whatever. So what do you say about this graph? It is more informative.
Very
Yes,
informative.
it is more. Yes.
So this one is my favorite graph I use for the showing the correlation of data. First, I see the structure again. It is factor, this is factor, this is factor. And gear we could also convert in a factor, gear and carburetor. I just do one thing first. I do with this only. First, I try to do this. I will take the graph from cylinder. Adil Hussain, the structure will say only explain you what class or that. Okay, it will show you that only. I just see the function margin dot table function xi. Just a moment. Just a moment. I just see the. Okay, I have not used it, but I was trying this. It work or not? Okay, so we have seen that how to see the uh, numeric variables in a bivariate analysis, how we could do it. So it is a way to do the uh, bivariate analysis with numeric data. And is there any doubt up to now in this descriptive analysis? Few more thing I will explain you. I have not explained you about the figures by which shape, by which we could understand the univariate analysis. Okay, MD data in the environment center. You just write the MD and write the empty cars like this way. Adil Hussain. MD, empty cars. Okay. Now I will show you. Third thing is the shape. Shape of the data in the univariate analysis I have not explained you. So for shape, we have the histogram if you want to see. You could see the histogram MD dollar mileage. You will see this is the histogram of the mileage. You could see it is the positive skewed. Okay. You could make a box plot also. For our understanding, we are doing this visualization. We are not doing this visualization for the presentation. It is not so pretty. But for understanding purpose, it's okay. When we do the analysis, we plot so many things for our understanding. So that's why we are doing this. Okay. So this is the box plot. It is also showing it is the uh, positive skewed. So in this way, we could make this sort of plot and we could see whether it is positive skewed or the negative skewed through the shape. Okay. Any doubt?
No, sir.
So this was all about the descriptive analysis. And the tomorrow we have a session of the inferential analysis, which is the, I think, R1. R1 we don't have that session. No? I just see. Just a moment. Okay. So we have seen our essentials of statistics I have taught you earlier, and the measure of central tendency and the measure of dispersion. We have seen today the detail about this. And then we have learned about the basic syntax, data types, variables, operators, this all. And the univariate and the descriptive analysis, we have seen these all things. Okay. Something remains, that is the missing value and the outliers treatment that we will discuss tomorrow on the Friday. How to remove the outliers and how to give the treatment to the missing values. That portion only remains. So we said we take some more data and we do it. How to code correlation manually. So you could use the function core. Okay. And you write the variable with data. MD dollar mileage or the MD dollar displacement if you want. You will get this correlation. Or if you want the correlation test, then also you write the same thing. Whatever you are taking displacement. You see, this is the hypothesis testing we have got here. The t value and the df degree of freedom is 30. P value is very, very near to 0, negligible. It means our null hypothesis that there is no correlation, it will be rejected. And the alternate hypothesis that there is correlation, it will be accepted. So there is a acceptance. There is significant correlation between mileage and displacement. Okay, so we could find this thing, and this is in the R2. We have the various hypothesis testing, various types of test we will cover in the R2. Okay. So tomorrow we will cover that portion, like our missing values and the outliers. Okay. Is there anyone has any doubt? Could ask. Different type of correlation. Just a moment. Some Kirti is asking about the different type of correlation. That's very easy. You see here in the default, it is the Pearson. In the Pearson correlation value, you see it is the minus 0.84. If I want, I will use the method Spearman. Now I will just see whether it is just a moment. The spelling in the capital or the small Spearman.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Oh, sorry. I'll just show you. Getting it?
Yes, sir, yes. Sir.
So you see here, you just put the question mark, okay, before that function, and then you could see the attributes there. Method. So we have three methods: Pearson, Kindle, and Spearman. So I'm using now the Spearman. So it is the value will differ. Okay. It is the Pearson correlation coefficient. It is the Spearman ring correlation coefficient. Got it? If I use the Kindle, I could use the Kindle also. Kindle also I could use. That is, got it? Kirti.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, someone else were asking some question. Yes.
Yes, sir, it was me, Karma.
Yes.
And like I just asked, I mean, like How do we get data from Excel to here?
Okay, yes,
in this
yes.
R?
Okay, sorry. I forget it. I show you how to read data. The default is the CSV format. You know the CSV format? You know the CSV format? Comma separated values.
Yes, sir.
That is the CSV format. So it is the default. We don't require any library when we read the CSV format file. So whenever you have the file in the Excel sheet, you convert them in CSV. That's very easy. It would be better. Okay. Otherwise, you could read the Excel file also there. Understand? But there is we could do some mistake while reading the Excel file, because there in the Excel files, there are many sheets. So sometimes the which sheet you are taking, you want to use the second sheet, and but you have run the only first sheet you have working on, then it would be difficult. So in the CSV format file, it is only one sheet. When we open this, it will open in the Excel format, but it would be a single sheet in each file. So whenever you have, so I will show you all the way, but see this one. Read.csv. Suppose I want to read a file. I will show you here. I have a file. I have so many files. The cipher20.csv. I will read this. So I'm giving any name. Cipher I am giving name. And read.csv with the CSV format. And the quotes, you write the name of the file. It is a case sensitive. Be very careful. And also the extension. Without extension, it will not open. So I will show you that cipher. So it is the cipher file. Got it? So in this way, we could read this file, but it should be in the same project. If it is not on the same location, your working directory, this is a working directory. I will show you how to get the working directory path. I will show you. Just write down the get working directory. You will get the path of from where you could read the file. You could read the file here because it is the same working directory I have taken as a project. But sometimes we have a file is kept on some other location. Got it? We have a file kept in some other location in our system, and we want to pick up that file from there. So then we have a, I am using some alone. I am writing object name. And if I have a CSV format file, I will write the CSV. Excel, I will write the XLS file. Then I will explain you tomorrow. But there I am showing you only for the CSV. Tomorrow, I will explain you some other file also. So I will use the file.choose and keep it blank and just run it. And you will get one pop-up window. Sometimes this pop-up window not appear on the screen, but it is on your task menu bar. So you click here and you will get this and you could go wherever the file is kept. I will pick up one file from some other location. You will see I am picking up file. Suppose I am picking up this file adult. Okay. So I click, it is a comma separated value file. Okay. So the extension is very important because I have written the read.csv. So I could read only the CSV format file. If I try to read some other file, I could not read that. You will see it has now, we have a loan, 32,560 observation and the 15 variables. I will show you this file. So this is the file now. Got it? And we could save it also. There is very simple way to save it. If you want to save MD1, which we have created earlier, MD1 we have created with this variables, numeric variables, I will save it. Okay. So how do we save it? So there is a function write.csv. And in the code, first you write which is your object name here. So that is MD1. I want to save without any quotes. And in quotes, you write by which name you want to save it. So it is the sub empty cars. Sub empty cars, because it's the sub data of the empty cars. So and also the extension CSV. If you don't write the extension, it will not save. When you read the file, you write the extension. When you write the file, you write the extension. And I run it, and you see here we don't have that file. Okay, I just run it. You will see it will be on the here sub empty cars CSV. Got it? I could show you in that folder. Sub empty cars. That 12, 10, 12, 20, 20, 652. I will just open it and you will see this file. Got it?
Sir, where this file will be saved? In the current working directory?
In the current working directory. It will always saved in the current working directory.
Okay, so we cannot change the.
Then you copy paste it somewhere if you want.
Okay.
Cut paste or the copy paste wherever you want to save it. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So it is the way, and tomorrow I will explain you some other format file, how we could read and how we could write. Okay. So it is sufficient for Karma today.
Yes, sir. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much, doctor.
Tomorrow I will show you how to read the Excel file also. Okay. Because
you.
there we need some library. First we have to run that library, then we could read that file, Excel file. But CSV file, there is no requirement of any library. It is the R basic. We could use it.
Okay, doctor.
Okay. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, doctor.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Kirti.
Thank you.
Thank you.